So here's what Peter's defense is all about. First of all, the divine vision. That big sheet, the instructions to kill and eat. No, not I. I don't allow anything impure into me. Being a good Jew, and God saying 3 times, don't call anything impure that God has made clean. That is God's vision. That's how He looks at humanity. And that's how we have better understand God. And I'll tell you what, you're off the hook in terms of judgment. You do not have to judge anyone. Love them. Okay? I'll tell you, one thing that I've grown as a chaplain is that it doesn't matter a person's background. Matter of fact, if I was to be judgmental, I wouldn't have a job as a hospice chaplain. You know, it doesn't matter if the background's Catholic, Mormon, Jehovah's Witness. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where they come from. What matters is I'm looking at a person whose life is valuable. And at the end of life, I'm going to bring as much dignity to that person as I can possibly bring as a representative of spiritual care. So if I got hung up on all the details of, you know, the different faiths, or this person a Christian, this person, you know what? I've been set free from judging. And I've been commissioned to love. Just like you. Just like every one of us together. We've been set free from the job of judging others and commissioned to love. That's pretty important. That's the divine vision. That's what Peter has, what Luke has told us in the gospel, or in the apostolic confrontation. It didn't destroy anything, but it was Paul saying, "What are you doing? Why would you revert back to that? You're defeating the mission that God has sent us on. Get the good news to people. Stop judging. I'll do the judging. You get the good news to the people. Love them. Care for them. Tell them about Jesus." Okay, so what? I want to mention the unity of the church. Since God does not make distinctions in His new society, Jew or Gentile, we have no liberty to make them either. God has hammered this home to me as a chaplain, as I've mentioned. You just love people. You love them wherever they're at. You leave the judging up to me. I'll never forget the little girl who came in. Came into our house with Lauren the day that Mr. Lorenzen died, Sunday evening. And her words were that, "I know where Mr. Lorenzen is. He's in hell." And how upsetting those words are. By chance, her mom was standing at the door. "Come on in. Hey, let me say a prayer." Taking their hands. "God, thank you that Mr. Lorenzen's in your loving arms. Amen." And Lauren and her friend scamper off to get back on their cell phone and process what's going on. I looked at her mom. I said, "What's that all about?" "Oh, this morning at church, the pastor hammered home the point that if a person dies without Jesus, they're going to hell." Now, is that true? You can't really be condemned for what he said. To me, it's irresponsible. And this little girl is a brilliant teenage girl. Wouldn't you say so, Lauren? Smart. Okay, brilliant, maybe a little exaggerated. Anyway, teenagers can't do that black and white. So automatically, this man who had not shared his faith with her was condemned to hell. Therefore, pretty much every professional that works in the school and honors the separation of church and state is condemned to hell in these kids' minds. And I think that's tragic. And I had an opportunity to teach not only that girl and her mother, but 500 people that came to his service on that next Sunday night, and a whole bunch of band directors the following day for the love of Jesus Christ. And as he said, you love them all just. I had more parents that week come up to me and say, what do you think about his salvation? What do you know about Mr. Lorenzen? And every time I just share all the good things, all the fruit that was evident in Mr. Lorenzen's life, who had dedicated himself to teaching music to students. I think God delights when we're involved in good, when we're involved in the better. Universalism is a nice idea, but it's not the Bible's idea. It falls short. But affirming people's love of God, according to what we see here in Acts, will lead to the sharing of the gospel. And I think that's where we've got to stand. We've got to stand that let's do everything we can to help people to know God's love through the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'll tell you what, sometimes it's going to be your actions that are going to speak louder than your words. And I hope that there's enough of us, in fact, I hope it's all of us, that believe this enough to act kind and caring towards the people in our lives, and that we will have the opportunity to say, well, you know, God's love for you was expressed on a cross 2,000 years ago. When Jesus died on that cross, that was because He loves you. He wants you forgiven. He wants you unburdened from the sin in your life. And that is the power of the gospel.